Welcome back to Generation X Nation. First things up, I appreciate every single person who has been subscribing to the channel, who has been leaving comments. As you can see, I do try my best to get back to you. Please like and share my channel. Please like, and share. The reason I keep saying that is it gets me into the algorithms a little bit more, as they say, and then my videos can be viewed by a larger audience. Everything on my channel is again alleged, in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. I do my commentary based on what I see on the show that they are airing. I understand there are edits. I understand they may edit a person to look bad or they may edit a person to look good. I basically go off the body language and the conversations and incidents that are going on the show as I'm watching. And that's how my commentary is set up. So, with that being said, I'm going to do a really quick review of Married to Medicine. It wasn't much going on, kind of the aftermath of the battle at the sandbar, and everybody's trying to figure out what went wrong. Now, I don't know exactly what went wrong, but I'm going to give some comments or my commentary of what I think went wrong. First up, the next morning, everybody's doing the usual, getting up, getting dressed, talking about what happened the night before. The most interesting conversation was the one between Jackie and Phaedra. When Phaedra and Jackie were talking in the room, Phaedra was packing her bags, letting Jackie know I'm out. And Jackie was, trying to convince her to stay and, I guess work things out or talk things out. And simultaneously, at the same time, I believe Simone and Dr. Heavenly were sitting in another area talking to Apollo and Shireen. They're trying to figure things out. And they decided that they would go ahead and leave and finish their party in Miami. I guess in their mind, the damage is done. So let me get out of here. Phaedra, I believe, was, she said she was very disappointed in Dr. Jackie. I kind of felt a little, I didn't feel one way or another about that comment because Dr. Jackie didn't know, at least the way it was edited, she did not know Apollo was coming and need alone bringing his wife until they landed there or, Dr. Heavenly revealed she had invited Apollo, but again, she didn't say Apollo's wife was coming. So I can understand Sheree, I mean, not Sheree, I'm sorry, Phaedra, Faye, whatever they like to call her. I can understand her being upset because you're going to bring the lady who my husband was cheating on me with and then married? I mean, this is messy. That was wrong. And I know they were this last end of last season, beginning of this season, they've been going after Phaedra. So I understand Phaedra's being upset and Dr. Jackie trying to play coy. No, Dr. Jackie, rewind back to the Met Gala, and they were doing the donations, and she said, I called Phaedra in. Phaedra know a lot of people. Hopefully you can raise this $100,000. And she was, asking Phaedra for help. Phaedra came through for her. She got as many people as she could. They did the auction and she made up the deficit. She sent that check in. And then after she sends the check in, Dr. Jackie and Simone and Heavenly sitting there laughing and joking about her check wasn't good or it didn't clear. Or the guy who spent, I'm sorry, $4,000 for a date with her, his money didn't go through. I mean, so y'all had it out for her on the very first episode of this season. So Dr. Jackie playing coy, like, oh, I didn't know. You may not know about the whole setup, but I know Heavenly told you something probably off screen. But you had it in for Phaedra since the show started this season. And maybe y'all missed that, but I didn't. Moving on, Apollo and Shireen, for some reason, I just believe somewhere along the line, Apollo must have called Heavenly back and let Heavenly know that his wife was coming. But everybody act like they were shocked. And maybe he didn't. Again, this is just alleged and in my opinion. Either way, I thought that was messy. So, of course, King and Quad are discussing what happened amongst them. So everybody's talking about it. There's nothing they could do. There's no redos. It happened. It's over. Kind of let it go. So moving on, Phaedra decided, hey, this is not for me. I don't do this mean girl stuff. I'm out of here. Paulo is saying, maybe Phaedra is a little intimidated by y'all because you guys all have degrees and y'all basically on the same intellect as her. So she can't, I guess, con y'all or deceive y'all or play little head games with y'all because you guys are just as smart as, or as intelligent as she is. And I felt like, that's that's kind of a dagger to the Real Housewives of Atlanta, because are you saying those ladies aren't as intelligent as Phaedra? So she was able to go over there and play around with them and play in their faces because she was smarter than them. That's kind of what you were saying, Apollo. I don't know if you caught that, but you're saying the Married to Medicine people are smarter than her previous castmates. That's what I got out of that. Again, maybe I'm reading into things, but I just call it the way I see it and hear it. Okay. So after that, I will say this: Faye left, and she left in style. She exited on her private jet, and she let them know Phaedra Parks has left the building, or at least has left the beach, and she won't be seen again on Married to Medicine. And I hear she didn't come to the reunion. Now I'm gonna jump over here real quick to Dr. Greg and Letitia, aka Sweet Tea, in that kitchen discussing the incidents that happened at the sandbar. Okay, they go back and forth. Letitia's trying to tell Dr. Greg, hey, it wouldn't have went that far. I'm combat trained. Dr. Greg talking about, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're a woman. Just this male misogynistic type of behavior. But while they were talking, I seen Dr. Greg whole demeanor change. And I don't know if Sweet Tea is used to it, or if she caught it, but the cameras caught it. And I'm like, Sweet Tea, just stop. End it there. Don't go any further with this conversation. I can see he was getting upset. Initially, I thought maybe most people just laughed about, like, girl, you ain't finna beat nobody up. But Dr. Greg took that personally. And that kind of bothered me because Greg is a psychologist or something. He works in some type of psychiatric field. At least that's what I was told. Or, I mean, that's what he said on the show. And for him to behave that way and take that little comment she was saying, hey, I'm going to go over there and fight with you. I'm going to defend you. That's your wife. Of course she was going to say that. Now, was she actually done it? We don't know. But for you to get upset about it instead of saying, hey, babe, we would have just had to go down together or something. I'm not encouraging her to fight a man, of course, because if she'd have done something, King Quad would have jumped in. It would have been a whole thing. But at that table, you could have just humored her and went along with what she was saying. I've been in the military. I'm combat trained, Kiki. Y'all could have just laughed and had it, been over with. But Greg took it a different way. And I just thought that was odd, the way he really got upset about that. Sweet Tea, I don't know if she was doing it for camera, but she kept repeating what he had already told her. Let's end this conversation. That was a red flag and a signal for you to bring it back down. Because apparently Greg gets turned up. So there may be some truth to what Quad was saying. Okay. Now he leaves the room. You follow behind him. I wouldn't have done that, because if you know your husband that you've been married to and living in this man's house, you should have known if I follow behind him, it's going to make him more upset. But she had to do it because Sweet Tea, and this is where the age gap comes in. And I'm not, disrespecting anybody who married people 15, 20, 30 years older or younger than them. That is your business. But you have to understand maturity levels are different based on your age. You're not the same person that you are at 20, that you are at 40, or you are at 50. We grow and we learn. Sweet Tea is, I would say, or Letitia, is a more of a millennial type way of thinking. And they have to get their last word in. Their opinion has to be heard, and they will pop off if you piss them off. Greg is more of a Gen X older group where he is like, hey, I said what I said. Discussion is over. It's dead. So those two people combining from different generation gaps, it's going to be some problems if they don't sit down and talk things out. Because she's used to reacting a certain way when somebody make her feel a certain way, and he's used to reacting a certain way when somebody makes him feel a certain way. And I can speak for a person from Generation X Nation. We grew up with the our parents would tell us, in a discussion, stop talking about it. I don't want to hear no more. And we had to shut up and not talk about it no more. Even though we may have mumbled some stuff and went on in the back room, said whatever in our bedroom, we couldn't talk about it anymore. And that's how we were trained. Not to say that was right. So I see that in Greg when he said it's dead and he went upstairs. She should have just left it alone. Now, was it right? No, but she could have went and circled back to that conversation maybe later on after he calmed down. But if he's right there in that moment pissed off, let him go, let him be pissed off, let him calm down, circle back and bring it up in a different way. And that's probably what Sweet Tea needs to learn. Not saying that I'm not taking her opinion as valid, not saying she's not allowed to express it. She has to understand the person that she's married to because she chose this. She wanted it. She DM'd her. She was in Texas, he was in Georgia. He did not chase after her. So she has to accept what she wanted. She got what she wanted. Now she has to work with it. Sweet Tea, as a millennial, I get it. Y'all think differently, different generation. Y'all was taught to speak your mind, express yourself, and all of that stuff. But then there's sometime a time and a place. You got to also have the emotional maturity to know I might want to bring this down a level because this could escalate somewhere else. And that's where she's not, to me, she's not there yet mentally. Not saying she's slow. I think she's a beautiful girl. I think she's highly intelligent. Again, this is alleged, in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. So, of course, they go upstairs. Y'all hear the ruck roar back in the room. The producers are out there. They're still filming. And you can hear this emotion coming out of Greg. And she's saying, she's going back. I'm not going to say this or that. And I'm like, oh my God, what is happening when the cameras are not there? That's what we all thought listening. Because if you're that bold to say that while the camera's there, and it sounds like he might have knocked her side the head had the cameras not been there, or even cussed her out even more. He seemed like he was trying to keep his cool and telling her, get out of my face because I'm about to explode. But she kept pushing him. And that's what I mean about emotional maturity. You could have just walked out of that room, grabbed you something, went on the back porch, sat, watched some TV, and let things simmer. We have to sometimes understand everybody is not emotionally matured at our level when we're having conversations back and forth and it gets heated. We got to know when to pull back, let it simmer down a little bit. Doesn't mean no one wins or loses, because when you're having conversations with your spouse or your boyfriend, significant other, it doesn't have to be a win-win situation. We just need to be able to agree to disagree or come to mutual grounds. And that's where people lose because they want to win. You got to just think the way I think or feel the way I feel. And if you don't, I'm pissed off and I'm keep pushing my agenda down your throat. Well, that's not how life works. Everybody makes decisions based on their life experiences, their background, and the way they was raised. Period. Okay? But another thing with Sweet Tea, I guess I'll go before I finish up with the couples thing. Another thing with Sweet Tea or Letitia, I'm trying to get to call her Letitia, not Sweet Tea. You came on the show with Greg, DMing Greg, telling him you can give him what Quad couldn't. And you said you're going to give him a baby and you're going to get married and all this stuff. And she's 30 plus years old. And I just kind of wonder, in the back of my head, I'm not saying this is true, but in the back of my head, did Sweet Tea really know that she couldn't, or she would have trouble having children? I'm just wondering, did she know that and didn't tell Greg the whole thing? Because I'm thinking if she had DM Greg and said, I can give you what what Quad couldn't give you, and he replied back, and if somewhere in between that she said, hey, I'm having trouble conceiving and we may have to do IVF, but I will try my best to give you a child. If she'd have said that to him prior to the marriage, would he have married her? Because Greg's biggest dream is to be a father. Now, we know Greg is kicking 50 if he ain't already there. If he have a baby at this age, Greg will be about 70 when his child is 20. Close to 70 when his child graduates high school. So the clock is ticking. I haven't seen anything on the show where Sweet Tea is having, she went to the doctor once, but is she actually doing the IVF? Is she taking the injections? Show us her motion. What is going on here? Is she, they're saying they're doing whatever to get pregnant, but I don't know. I just feel like Sweet Tea may know deep down inside there's a small chance that she can get pregnant, and I think she knew it before she got to Greg. Because the first thing she said, I get access to the money. And that just threw me for a loop when they asked her, what is she looking forward to? She said, access to the money. So, I'm not saying Sweet Tea is not being forthcoming, upfront and forthcoming. It just seems to me maybe she knew she couldn't get pregnant. Maybe Greg is a little upset because maybe he's feeling, maybe I've been tricked again. I ain't saying quad tricked him, but maybe he's feeling like, God, I'm in another relationship with another woman who can't give me a child, and maybe that's irking at him. And another thing with Greg, I just think I'm just saying Quad and Sweet Tea are somewhat similar in the sense that they voice their opinion. They have explosive personalities. They're not going to be demure. They're not going to be submissive. And Greg seems like the guy, based on his personality and things that come out of his mouth, he wants a submissive wife who's very quiet and who will go along with what he wants and what his agenda is. And in both times, you pick the exact opposite, which is probably why your marriages aren't working. Because in honesty, as much as I wish them the best and think they'll be married for the next 20, 30 years, I doubt if it lasts a few more years. And I'm just being honest. Sweet Tea, Letitia will probably hang in there as long as possible because she don't, for optics, she don't want to look like she made a mistake and, Quad told you so mentality. But I don't think that marriage is going to last that long. And that's my take on Sweet Tea. I might have forgot some things, so I did put some notes down, but it's just odd to me. So we're gonna move and close out with the couples, the last night that they were sitting there talking and everybody going over the scenes of what happened, and they realized, okay, Sweet Tea and Letitia and Greg has left. Phaedra and Apollo has left. And earlier that day when they said, Jackie and Simone and Kiki and laughing about it. And I'm not Phaedra and Apollo, Phaedra and Catchy, whatever his name was, and then Apollo and Shireen, all of those. So three couples exited. Okay. And they sitting there on the beach their last night, and then they're going over everything that happened. If you notice, the only couples there are the new couple who doesn't know much, as far as the group goes, the dynamics they're learning on the fly, and then Contessa, who's kind of easing her way back in the group because she conveniently, I guess, forgot about her beef with Dr. Heavenly, or at least put it aside because she's not beefing with her anymore. I guess she wants to be back on the show. Not that they need the money. I guess she just liked being on the show. Um, and they're talking about what happened, and Dr. Damien spoke, and everybody just started listening because whenever, of course, earlier that day they went to the cigar bar and they had their conversations, and then the girls went to tequila thing and had their conversations, but really wasn't much going on. So that's why I'm closing it up on the beach scene. So Dr. Damien, he was like, I can understand how King felt. Somebody disrespect his woman. And, that would make me mad if you say something about my woman. And I'm sitting here like, your woman is the most disrespectful person on this freaking show. Really? And I get it. You taking up for her because she your wife. But, you might want to, we already know what happened to Heavenly this past week or two, what came out of her mouth. So I was surprised. I like Dr. Damien, and everybody respected what he said. Yes, you will take up for your woman if somebody disrespects her in front of you. I get it. So I'm not knocking what Dr. Damien said, but I'm kind of like, you got to be careful because you should be going off on people all the time because your woman is always disrespecting people. And if somebody come at her, don't be looking to get all up in their grill. You might want to check the Heavenly sometime and maybe tone it down a little bit, stuff that comes out of her mouth. But moving on. Then Toya, because remember previously, Stephen told Toya that you started this. That was the episode before this one. And Toya, when they were in the truck going and they driving in the vehicle going on their shopping spree or whatever, him, his wife, the psychologist, and Toya and Eugene. So now, fast forward to the beach, Toya finally speaks up and say, we're saying all this. However, I do feel like we're mean girls. We have not been there for people. We have hurt people. And then Quad's sitting there looking sideways, because she was already a little upset when Dr. Eugene had said that Greg is his friend. He's been knowing him for a long time, and basically he don't want to cut Greg out the group. And Quad looking, I see how Quad looked at Eugene. She wasn't happy when he said it. Um, and then Toya confessed that they were mean girls, and I'm like, Toya, but you and Heavenly lit this fire, and then y'all threw gas on it. And let's rewind back when y'all was sitting there in your floaties in the beach, and you started messing with Phaedra's the guy that came with Phaedra, Catch, and start asking him how well did he know Shireen and her family? Do y'all do Thanksgiving and Christmas together? Da 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 da. Start questioning them. And then Shireen had to throw in a dig, or he's for the streets. He's everybody's boyfriend. You started that. And then Phaedra over there listening to Shireen, and then she said something about Faye, and then Phaedra said, my name is Phaedra. And then y'all start questioning, uh, I'm sorry, then Letitia came over and asked her, who invited you and why you here? And then Heavenly got up and started going off on her. Then it was all these comments about bad Bill, BITCHs and all that. So you and Heavenly started that fire that led to everything else. Okay? And then Greg on the other end, he had already apologized. And then King, which he had the right to say, hey, you disrespected my girl. I didn't hear when you said that. Apologize to her. And then Greg didn't want to apologize. Said, I ain't saying nothing, SHIT. I ain't apologizing for nothing. And then that fight went on. So you sitting here on the beach now saying how we was mean girls and we need to stop this and we need to check ourselves. And I'm sitting here like, okay, I'm glad at least Toya admitted that they were doing stuff wrong. Everybody else looking like they shocked. I don't know what y'all shocked at. Toya was right. Y'all were mean girls. All right? So hopefully the next episode, I know they're going to try to go on this cleanup campaign. Phaedra's not coming back. We all know she went over to the housewives. So that's a done deal. I think what it boils down to, because one side says we shouldn't invited the exes because there's still some hurt and some healing that needs to go on. So now you're stuck because some people like Greg, some people like Quad and her new friend. My issue is Quad is an OG, but she's not a doctor. So I get it. She has some seniority and a reason to be there. Greg is an OG and he is a doctor. So he has a reason to be there. So now they're in a limbo or who they're going to invite. Because if you see next week's episode, Toya is about to have an anniversary party and she's wondering, do I invite Greg and Letitia and Quad and King? Do I exempt them out? So now you're going to start isolating people from events. This is crazy. And all of this was orchestrated by Dr. Heavenly and Simone, who thought they could bring in Letitia to the show to get to harass Quad. And it backfired because Quad got a man, my man, my man, my man. So your plan backfired. Now you no longer need Letitia. So now all of a sudden y'all done kicked her to the curb. But Heavenly says, oh, Letitia, has a mouth and Letitia does this and that. Letitia is just like Heavenly. They both got mouths. Heavenly doesn't like looking at herself in Letitia. Everything Letitia say when she popping off, I'll kick your butt, da da da. Heavenly says the same thing. She's just a younger version of Heavenly. Now all of a sudden y'all got a problem with Letitia's mouth, but you're okay with Heavenly doing the same crap, saying the same crap. Doesn't make sense. Meanwhile, all over social media, Dr. Greg and Letitia on a campaign to try to, I guess, soften their image. And what we've seen or heard in the bedroom didn't really happen. And then Dr. Heavenly's all over social media trying to soften her image. I apologize. Really? You two ladies, as much as I like y'all are kind of bringing the show down just a little bit to not more the love and hip hop and not Married to Medicine. Married to Medicine was about highly educated Black excellent doctors and dentists and psychologists living, maneuvering through their everyday lives and their children and businesses. Now we down to fighting on the beaches, calling people bad built bitches. And really, now everybody on this campaign to clean it up. I'm going to say if I had to choose who needs to be off the show, and I know it's not fair, but I'm going to keep it to myself because I'm going to see who they get rid of. But I know who needs to be gone. I really do. And I'm not going to necessarily say Dr. Heavenly per se because she's an OG, but she definitely needs to change it around the way she behaves. But somewhere between Letitia and Quad and those two crews, one of them probably not going to survive next season. And I don't know which one. And as far as Phaedra, we know Phaedra's off the show. And y'all act as though y'all didn't need her. But let's be real and let's be clear. When the word Phaedra Parks, after she left Traders and turned that show up, where people watching it now because Phaedra Parks was on there, love her or hate Phaedra Parks, she does provide some substance to whenever she goes. Or some, people are just, oh, let me go see what Phaedra's up to. Y'all got Phaedra on that show, and the minute people said Phaedra is going to Married to Medicine, you got probably a whole list of new viewers because people wanted to see what Phaedra was up to and wanted to see her back on TV. So whether you said, I need Phaedra, y'all around, you, Quad, and the rest of y'all around here saying, y'all don't need Phaedra for this show. Yes, the show had good viewership. I watched the show season 1, day 1. When Mariah Mama was out there fighting, I think Toya or somebody. Okay, so I remember that. But the show wasn't getting the views that the Housewives get. They had a good audience. But that viewership, you cannot sit here and tell me your viewership did not go up just a pinch when Phaedra came in last season. Now, it probably didn't stay that high because we expected more out of Phaedra. She didn't give us much. But I could say, you could say conservatively, y'all did use Phaedra a little bit to get some more ratings up. Because you come on right after I want to say right after the Housewives. So people are already on that station. So your ratings should be similar to the Housewives, but it wasn't. Phaedra did help you. So stop running around here pretending like we don't need Phaedra to help our ratings. Yeah, your viewership was up, but you can't tell me when Phaedra stepped on the scene them first couple of seasons, the first couple of episodes, y'all didn't probably have some of your highest viewerships that you've ever had. Because Phaedra had a following. Don't get twisted. And with that being said, this is Generation X Nation. I would love for you to subscribe and like my channel. Share it, leave a comment, just like. The more you like, the more you leave comments, it gets me more into the YouTube algorithm, which is where I'm trying to get to. I've grown this channel from the grassroots. I haven't even posted my channel on social media to my friends and family. I'm really just doing this, because I enjoy doing it. And one day I'll show them what I've been doing behind the scenes, or they may run into it one day. But I definitely appreciate everything that you guys write up in the comments. I do my best to reply back to you. Like and share, subscribe, please. And I'm always wishing you guys the best. I pray for the world. I pray for humanity. I just hope to God, whatever you are going through, that God will see you through it. Whatever these people are going through in this world, that God will see them through it. And it's going to get better because, it can't get any worse. And that's just being conservatively. For everybody who may have lost their job or be getting laid off, just keep praying and getting your resume together, improving your skills, and hopefully there's something else out there for you. And I say that genuinely from the bottom of my heart. Because unlike most people, I care about humanity. I care about the planet we live on. I care about the earth. I care about people, my neighbors, and everybody else. I don't have hatred in my heart because I'm still here. I got up this morning. I'm still alive. I'm still healthy. I'm doing okay for myself. So if I ever become a millionaire or not, it ain't going to make a difference to me. We got to learn how to get back to being kind and being respectful to each other. This is what's gotten us in the place we are now. Because we stopped being polite and being respectful and being kind and caring about other people. And all we concern is with ourselves. And I know that was a long commentary, but you get what I'm saying. You can cut it off if you don't want to hear it. You guys have a great rest of your day. And as I said before, It only can get better because it can't get any worse. And with that being said, peace out.